Hello, my name is Dr. Arthur McClunu. I've dedicated my life to providing surgical care to patients with heart disease. My life began in the slums of Soweto in South Africa, where I learned to overcome adversity and illnesses, including the death of my best friend. That's why I want to be a resource for you and your family for consultation related to heart and cardiovascular needs. You can learn more about me by visiting my website, which is at zuluchaskada.com.
Thank you, folks. Welcome back to the Roland GRIMES, not just sports entertainment show, taping live here at the Society Lounge in Silver Spring, Maryland. Put your hands together, if you would, for my esteemed co-host right now, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Hellams Fitness Center, Mr. Eugene Hellams.
Thank you, thank you. How you doing, Roland?
Eugene, I don't know how I'm doing because I'm hurt. My knee hurts, my shoulder hurts.
I understand.
You know, my body's jacked up.
It's Monday.
Right?
It's Monday.
I got a hitch in my sacroiliac, and I had to bring this dude on so we can talk a little bit about how to put a brother back together. All right? So, folks, in case you don't know, I had a chance to run around on the field a little bit, took a couple hits, so did Eugene. So if we say something that doesn't make any sense, at least you know why now.
Right.
But what we did was we invited a young man on our set who is one of the most distinguished physical therapists in the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you a little bit about his pedigree. He is a undergraduate, South Carolina State University. Bulldogs. However, he was drafted by the Detroit Lions, according to him. I got to check that on Google, but I'm going to trust him for now. Played wide receiver, so I have two wide receivers with me right now. Why? I have absolutely no idea. But he was drafted by the Detroit Lions, wide receiver. Knee injury, out of the game, went back to Howard University, did some work there, earned distinguished academic honors and research assessment awards as an outstanding student out there for the Howard University Bisons. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my good friend, Mr. Edward Lee. Ed, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to jump right into it.
Okay.
Other than the obvious, what really made you decide to get into the physical therapy business?
Well, first of all, I like helping people. So when I got injured and went through all that physical therapy, I decided I was going to give back that way.
Look, people don't know what that physical therapy is. Can you tell us a little bit about what physical therapy is for a football-related knee injury? I see your eyes, so I know it's deep.
Well, I mean, for any injury, whether the person plays football or whether it's somebody at work, whether it's a mom at home taking care of her family, our job is to get that person back to doing what they did before. So when a person comes in to see us, we evaluate their condition. We look at their range of motion. We talk about a mechanism of injury or how they got hurt. And then we design a treatment program to get them back to doing whether it's playing a professional sport or whether it's going back to their job.
So as the president of the physical therapists, as the president of the Physical Therapy and Sports Assessment Center,
that's right.
Bam! What you do, similar to many other professionals, is you do consultation, assessment, sort of diagnosis and treatment. Is that sort of the matrix that you follow?
Yeah, so whether you're talking about RG3 or whether you're talking about Ed Lee, my joint, his joint still works the same. If it's a knee, it still functions the same.
It's the same joint.
It's the same joint. Same muscles, same ligaments. So whether it is somebody that works for Metro or whether it's somebody trying to run the read option, you got to treat them the same. Now,
Really?
how aggressive you get with that person, or whatever the goal is, determines how hard will you push them. So if he has to be able to climb up on that bus, get down off the bus, and drive the bus, or whether it's RGG trying to turn that corner, you still got to approach it the same way. It's just how aggressive do you have to be.
So, Eugene, the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. Thigh bone connected to the leg bone.
That's how God made it.
I guess I'm so hung up on my bones.
Right.
Your turn, big man.
Goodness. Like, we talk about all of the injuries that all these athletes are facing,
Yes.
especially now in football.
Yes.
They want the guys to run faster, stronger. What do you have to say, being a physical therapist? What's the major injury that you always come across?
Well, I mean, typically what everybody's afraid of initially are probably ACL.
It's the knee.
Okay, that's the main thing. However, the most catastrophic injury is a neck injury. So we're talking about now with neck injuries and concussions. You know, that's what all the research is about right now, and the biggest concern right now are head injuries. Right. And it's not just NFL players. We're talking about youth athletes from 5, 6, and 7-year-olds up through the professional ranks.
So head injury, head trauma, motorcyclists, anyone who experiences head trauma, essentially once they clear the major trauma diagnosis, when it's time for them to get back on their feet, get moving again, re-enter their life, that's kind of where you come in, or do you work hand in hand with the doctor initially?
Well, if it's an injury to a joint or muscle, we kind of come in and we get them back to where they need to be. So what you want to do is, if I hurt my right knee, I need to compare the injured knee to the non-injured knee. That tells me where that person is. So you want to compare the two. I can't compare my knee to yours because you might be stronger than me.
Exactly.
I need to compare it to my other knee. Now, as far as head trauma, physical therapists really don't deal with that.
Don't mess with that.
We don't really. I mean, it's really, you need a neurologist to do that.
Right.
And nobody really understands the mind and the brain. We don't really know. So they're trying to figure all that out now. With, you know, there's a huge lawsuit against the NFL and Rydell Helmets, because when I played, if you got dinged or you got knocked unconscious, if you were able to go back in the game, if you knew where you were, then you went back and played. You went back and played. I mean, basically, just like you're teaching young kids now, they taught us to suck it up. If you can suck it up and play, and that's what RG3 did. You know, he told his coach, I'm able to go back and play. Exactly. So it wasn't all on Mike Shanahan. It was partially up to RG3 too, whether he could go back in.
Well, we read the controversy about that. We heard about it. And folks, I'm sure many of you, had some comments and some thoughts about whether he should have returned into the game, in the playoff especially, or not, whether he should have played. But us being former football players, we know that you almost have to chop our legs off to keep us off the field.
Exactly.
So when you played football, what were some of the injuries that you sustained while you were playing, and how did guys like Ed Lee get you back to where you wanted to be?
Well, I know one of the injuries that I sustained was the AC joint. And I think one of the main reasons why—
The AC in the shoulder?
AC in the shoulder.
Okay.
And I think one of the main reasons why is because of the bench pressing. I mean, oftentimes in the NFL Combine, they have the guys to go all the way down to touch their shoulder.
Well, that's the only way I know you bring it all the way to you bring it right to here.
Exactly.
Look, Ed laughing at me.
Well, see, what the thing about it is that when you bring it all the way down, now you're going down and you're extending an AC joint. So now you got 225 that you're pushing beyond your plane or the chest cavity to go back up. Now, I know Ed and I were discussing about, for football, you have that—
You have the thrust.
Right, that thrust.
Right.
But what happens, long-term longevity, you keep doing that after a series of time, because that AC joint is only a thin joint. With 225,
So it just starts to wear and tear.
It starts to wear down.
Well, 225, I mean, we were benching 320. Never mind. Hey, folks, we're going to take a station break before I start telling all my business. Rolling Grimes, not just sports entertainment show. We're on the sports side of this. We'll be right back at you in a few minutes. Keep it locked. Thank you. We go. One. Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Roland Public Grimes, Eugene Hellams, Ed Lee.
What was the transition period from playing to non-playing?
Well, the most difficult part was when I got in. So I was 24 years old, still young, and looking forward to a great NFL career. So when that ended, that was very difficult for me. And so you kind of go through the denial part, go through a little temporary depression, and then you realize life goes on. Because in the NFL, it stands for not for long. Exactly. And so I knew that I wanted to go to med school or physical therapy school. And when I got finished work, I just came home, got to Washington, D.C., and I enrolled in Howard University and started physical therapy school. So I gave myself basically a year to get over, and then I went back to school.
Now, the time you went back, was physical therapy a blossoming industry, or were people still looking at you and saying, man, you're not going to make a living doing that?
No, it was in full fledged. It was possible. Sports medicine was big. Doctors were referring people to physical therapy all the time. And actually, they weren't into physical therapy. So it was one of the most sought after jobs in the market. So they needed a lot of physical therapy.
Now, how were you involved with it at Howard before you went to work?
I did the last 2 years in a physical therapy program. So it was a 4-year program. You came out with a bachelor's. Now it's a 6 or 7 year program, and you come out with a master's or a doctorate.
Now, do you ever get to go back to Howard or some other places and tutor, counsel, talk to folks about this journey?
Well, I do that. We also take students that are interns that are finishing up. So you have to go into the field and work before you get your degree. So we take Howard students from Hampton, students from GW. So they come to our offices and internships.
What advice to your players knowing that you're in a half-long situation?
Well, it's difficult because you always think you're going to play for a long time. That's true. And so the issue comes about when you think you're going to play and then it ends. And so when you first get that money, now when I played, this is back in the 80s. We didn't make a lot of money. So, but you still want to do something. So you've been trying to get there. You've been putting in all this work since you were very young. And so it's difficult not to go spend something. So
you have to reward yourself.
And your mom and your dad, you got to do something else. Now that's another issue. Now part of the problem is, if you come from a big family, everybody cannot get a brand new car. You have to get a total of your family. No. You have to take care of mom and dad. Exactly. And so then at that point, you need a financial advisor. You had a guy earlier talking about financial advisor. But you didn't hire somebody. And so what I did was my dad got me in contact with his friend that was a financial advisor. And he gave me a stipend. He made sure I had a little money in my pocket, but I didn't get access to all of that money all the time.
Now, Eric, Willie Jeffries?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Tell me about Coach.
So, Coach Jeffries built South Carolina State, that program. So I had not heard of South Carolina State before until I talked to Coach Jeffries. Then I got down there and I understood what the tradition was. Deacon Jones came through there, Harry Carson, all these players from South Carolina State made it to the pro. He was a guy that he wanted to get the best out of him. You wanted to play for him. And he was like a father figure. I mean, I had that, but a lot of kids did not. And he was just somebody that you really wanted to play for. I mean, it was just somebody that you really looked up to and admired.
You know, it's interesting because this guy here played for another legendary African-American coach, Robert.
Yes.
You know, so if you two had played each other, who would have won? We'll get back to that. I know who would have won. The Bulldog Tigers. Eugene, let me ask you this now. You're involved with physical training. He's involved with physical therapy. What is the biggest difference between the two? I know that I sometimes, and my good friend Jessica Nash corrected me as a physical trainer, that there's a difference between a trainer, a therapist, and a personal I'm confused. You can tell I'm confused. Explain to me what it is I'm not trying to say.
You got 3 tiers. You have your doctor, the physical therapist and you have your personal trainer. So what happens is that once the client or patient meets with the doctor, gets the orders from the physical therapist. So from weeks at a time, it can be between 4, 6, 8 weeks, depending upon what your level of injury is. The physical therapist will have you on a regimen program. Then after that, once you're done, that's when you get to go to the personal training center. Now for that, that's when you go long term. 3, 4, 6 months. And I was speaking earlier, so our job is to make sure you don't go back or digress as far as where you try to.
So your job is to put them out there. So quick question then, do you refer people or do you do all of that inside of your clinic? Or do you refer people to physical trainers, physical therapists, personal trainers like Eugene?
Yeah.
This is good. I need a quiz when this is done.
So what you're saying is true. So the person has an injury, okay, so they go to see the doctor, and the doctor will refer us, from the patient to us, to rehabilitate their injury. So now, let's say we have to get them to a certain point to where basically their right side is equal to their left, and so then we have to him to take them to the level where they need to compete, or they just want to do long-term exercise.
Okay, so he's the one that's going to help that. After you finish, then he's the one that's going to physically help that the guy with the hip problem get on the bus, or that football player after he goes through his therapy, who's going to help him with that, physically be able to perform in the field again.
Well, we're going to get him back to where he can perform on the field again. He's going to take him to the next level to make him a better athlete. And we're just trying to make sure that they're healthy to start doing it.
You guys are giving me a headache.
Okay, another thing to make it even more difficult is that sometimes I can go to the physical therapist and they might have a sheet as far as what they want them to follow, or I might reverse the information as far as they say, look, this is what I have. So when they go back to their checkups, they know what they're looking at. This size 2 is doing A, B, C, and D. What do you expect? Because you want me to keep going back, so you want to make sure you're on the same page, or you can physical therapist
So now I'm going to get you in trouble. All the doctors out there who you refer to or get referred from, are there personal trainers out there that you refer to or get referred from that you just say there's no reason in the world to want to work with this person because they're not doing their job as well as they should, or for the most part, has everybody been working?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody, physical therapy, whether it's medicine, regardless of the business you're in, it's about relationships. So once you get to meet a physician, you kind of know what they do well, and you kind of know what their needs and their wants are. I mean, every doctor, I don't say every doctor, oftentimes doctors may have a case where they didn't go like that. But I don't know of any physician that I would just say, oh, no, I'm going to see the patient. You know, the patient needs help. We're going to try to help.
Well, you started out by saying you want to be more to the health profession. You started out by saying you like helping people.
I do.
Now, that's a disease that so many of us have, and we just can't seem to get rid of. So if you ever go back to medical school, I want you to help us with this helping profession. Because I'm telling you, it might be working for you, but I tell you what, I'm so tired of helping people. I don't know what to do. But seriously speaking though, it is necessary. I mean, now we're talking about aging population.
Physical therapy is needed. I mean, there's so many, the baby boomers are moving into Social Security, moving into Medicare, and those people are going to need more and more help. The baby boomers that were so active now are suffering for that, running on that concrete, doing all that jogging on the concrete, on the sidewalk. You know, their joints, it's taking its toll on their joints. A lot of those people have hip replacements, knee replacements. There's a need a lot of help. So physical therapy is here to stay.
My man, we're going to ask you back sometime.
Okay.
I hope you will accept my invitation.
I'll do that.
All right, and we're going to make sure that it comes back into the Society Lounge and we'll dig into his brain a little bit more, but we'll let you know how to reach him. On behalf of Eugene Hellams, my co-host extraordinaire, Mr. Edward Lee, I'm Robert Griffin, your resident funketeer, saying goodbye and God bless.
There's nothing else you can do. Like you have difficulty walking, you can't move from sitting to standing very well. you want to try all of your options first before you have a joint replaced. Eventually, if you don't have any cartilage left in your knee, eventually you're going to need a total knee replacement. And so the difficulty with the knee replacement is it hurts. It hurts to regain the range of motion. That's the main thing, trying to regain the range of motion. We have to get what we call 115 degrees of flexion, so you can go up and down stairs normally. It's not going to be like it used to. But once you have that done, it should make your life a lot easier. But again, you should wait as long as you can because they only last about 15 years. So if you're in your 60s and you have a joint replaced, hopefully you live longer because you're going to need another. So you want to wait until you just can't take the pain anymore and you just have to get your joint replaced.
Are there different types of knees? Like knee replacement athletes? I know one of the Redskins running back had 2 knee replacements and still playing. I think that was Terry Allen.
Okay, no, there are no professional football players playing with a joint replacement. Not going to happen. Now, what Terry Allen had was 2 reconstructed knees. He tore both of his ACLs and he had them both reconstructed. So he basically had the surgery that everybody's having. But just back then, it was unheard of that a running back could play with 2 reconstructed knees.
Okay, Ed, I'm going to participate in this process also.
All right.
I had arthroscopic surgery.
Yes.
Many years ago. I was told that eventually I might need to have a knee replacement. However, I don't have any aches right now, and I was a basketball player. Okay, so playing on concrete, wood, tarp, and all that stuff. Playing at GW, we played on tarp. That was the worst thing I could have played on. I'm paying the price for it now. You said in most cases you should wait as long as you can.
Yes.
You know, what I'm trying to do is not have it all.
Yes.
But I do have the clicking.
Okay.
I do have the clicking.
Okay. So joint noises do not mean you need to do anything. Okay. So if I were to stoop down right now, you would hear my knees. They're going to crack and pop. Okay. That doesn't mean you need to do anything. The issue is function and pain. If you do not have pain, and you can do all the things you need to do, we call them activities of daily living. If you can do all the stuff you need to do, you can still exercise, ride a bike, jog, you don't need to have your joint replaced. You don't need to have your joint replaced if you cannot do the things you need to do functionally. Difficulty walking, you can't get up from a chair, those kinds of things.
Well, one of the things I will say, my wife was not here. She was supposed to be here, but she couldn't make it. But I'm not having any problems with the wife, so I'm good. I'm not happy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I have a question about any new cutting-edge technology that would be for cartilage and things like that. Are they working on anything now?
They are working on trying to grow cartilage. They're trying to do cartilage replacements like for knees. They're even doing disc replacements for backs. However, they're not real successful at doing that just yet. And it's definitely not approved over here yet. So they're trying to work on those things, but they haven't perfected that yet. First of all, God created us, and we cannot recreate that yet. We're getting close to doing some things, but you're not going to make it like God made.